Hi, this is Frederica, and you're watching me on Thinking Free with Frederica. And I am so excited to continue our conversation around our thought life and rest and how to challenge our thoughts. So let's jump right on in for a quick minute. So, with the last talk that we did on rest from Psalm 37 and being able to see how to rest in the Lord, to commit to his way, to trust him, to delight in him. Oh my gosh, so good, right? Sometimes some of the things that get in the way of us trusting him, us delighting, us resting in the things that we know about God, the things that we know about ourselves, the goodness and settling in on good things is the way that we think about things, the way that we feel when it comes to the things that we're thinking about, or what feelings are promoting thoughts that we are thinking, and then those behaviors that follow. And so it can be really helpful to start asking ourselves some questions about what we think about to really get in there and challenge a thought. Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention, I'm also a licensed therapist here in Texas. I'm not your therapist, but I am a licensed therapist. And so this is not therapeutic advice. This is good information. And if you are looking for therapeutic advice or to meet with a therapist, then you should do that. There are some great ones out there. And this here is not meant to be medical or therapeutic advice for you. Just good information that you can take or leave and evaluate. And so let's jump back on in there. So for our thought life, it's really important for us to consider the kinds of thoughts that we think. Why? Because those thoughts that we're thinking are going to drive our focus. They're going to drive the things that we look towards, the things that we expect, and can even show up in our bodies in physical ways, whether that is either a lightness, a heaviness. Sometimes if we carry certain thoughts for long enough, it can bring about physical pain, whether that's a backache, a stomach ache, or something like that, like headaches. We don't always consider headaches being things. We know stress can cause a headache, but what we are not necessarily always considering is stress is connected to the way we are experiencing something, the way our body's experiencing it, and likely kind of the way that we're thinking through it. Perception is also a way that we're thinking through it. And thoughts don't just come from our brain, they also come from our soul. The part of us that is is the seat of our emotions, our desires, and our passions. And so when we start to challenge a thought, we are also addressing the way that we believe, we are addressing the way that we emote, and then some of the ways that those behaviors show up as well. So, how do you challenge it? Well, you gotta take a thought. You gotta pick one or several, if they're along the same lines, and start asking yourself some questions about it to get curious about what you're thinking about and how you're thinking about it. So if you have a thought that says that you're not gonna get that promotion, you don't know that unless they've already told you you didn't get it. Right. So, and if that thought is creating some distress or if it's connecting to earlier experiences that you had of missed opportunities, or things that you wanted that you didn't get, then having a conversation with you to explore where those thoughts are coming up is really important. So you get to ask yourself, what's the evidence that's supporting the thoughts that you have that you won't get the job, that you didn't get the job? What is the evidence that does not support it? Why do we need to know what evidence? Because the evidence is fueling what we think. We're taking experiences, whether we've had them or other people have had them and told us about them, things that we've read, things that we've come across, um, to make decisions on what to continue to think about, what path to continue to send our thoughts down. And so it's important for us to think about what evidence we're using that's for the thought, and then also what evidence that may not support it. We need to be able to challenge our thoughts in healthy ways. And so after we do that, then we get to look at the situation to see if the situation can be seen from a different vantage point. Because sometimes the situation is, well, you hadn't had an interview in a long time, and now, there's nervousness. Okay, there's another way to look at the situation rather than to say that you won't get it. When we look at another way, like what is the best and worst and most realistic outcome if this thought were true? What if the thought is false? What if that's not it? And then likely, what would you tell somebody that you care about if they were in the exact same situation as you? You probably wouldn't tell them that they didn't get the job. You would probably be more neutral, and have a hopeful anticipation for them. So that's going back to connecting with hope and joy that's vulnerable. Sometimes having the thought that you won't get it is because there is a vulnerability attached to believing that you will. So here, the thing is letting yourself experience the opportunity of hearing yourself and the thought that you think and being able to challenge it so that you can move on to the other side of whatever that thought is and whatever that internal experience is that you're feeling that may be bringing about some distress. Is not to remove all distress all the time, because that's not realistic to human life. But what is a part of human life and the ability you have is to build capacity, to build tolerance with different situations that you go through by showing up differently in your thought life, in your perception, in the way that you carry yourself, in the way that you handle things in your decision making. And that part of that is challenging thoughts that are that are distorted, or thoughts that don't match well to the way that you want to be, the things that you do see with the things that you see for yourself and the things that you want for yourself. So I hope this talk has been helpful for you. The example has been helpful. You can like, tag, share. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Thinking Free with Frederica. I will continue to have little quick nuggets for you to take and offer also to someone else who could benefit from thinking freer. I hope you have a great rest of your day or whenever you watch this, and I look forward to sharing more information with you in the future. Have a beautiful day.